Grace and peace to everyone on this evening. I hope that this video finds you well. I'm so delighted to be able to bring you this segment on this evening of my superstar singles. If you don't know me, I am Ramona Roberson Gregory. I am your host and the CEO of My Superstar Productions. And on tonight, we have designated time to share information and give some inspiration to those who are single. So we hope that you will have an opportunity to stay with us to the end and to be able to glean some things that will be applicable to your life. So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you if you don't mind sharing. Think of a friend, a cousin, a neighbor, a coworker who could be blessed by this broadcast. And even if you don't know anyone afterwards, you may think of someone and you can share it afterwards. So we're delighted. So on tonight, we have a special guest, and his name is Rufus Carpenter. I'm a teacher, so you don't have to pronounce all the syllables, you know. Okay, and we're so delighted. Now, I must digress back to our very first segment. We had as a guest Miss April Johnson, and our topic was and is tonight first date. So we wanted to start at a point to, understand perhaps, what is in the mind of a woman when it comes to going out with someone for the first time, and many times a complete stranger. That takes some discernment, some bravery, and some interest. And we talked about that from the woman's perspective. However, normally, it's the man who is the aggressor. It is the man who's the chaser, who's the hunter, the one who shows interest. So it is good for us to be able to get a man's perspective so that we can understand what goes through, the mind of a man. And I'm sure that there's some, bravery that has to take place when it comes to gentlemen, because along with that one that may say yes, there could have been 5 others that, rejected him. So we want to even, the playing field here and get both perspectives. So on tonight, we have Mr. Rufus Carter. Let's throw up some hearts, show some love, and welcome him on tonight. And don't forget to let somebody know that we are on. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to start off by letting Mr. Carpenter introduce himself. And I also want to say that we're only 2 days away from Veterans Day, in which we have already celebrated. And he is a veteran. And so we want to say, publicly, thank you for your service and for, what you've done to make sure that we enjoy the liberties that we have on today. So now let me explain to you something to everybody. I even have to do this at work. Okay. I served in the military as well. I'm a veteran as well. And for the enlisted, we address them, by their rank. And then we had officers, we addressed them, as sir or ma'am. And just growing up, it's engraved in me, to address people. So even if it's somebody that's my friend, like Mr. Carpenter, you may hear me say Mr. You may hear me, call somebody Miss. I do this at work. So this is just, who I am. So I'm going to just try to go with Rufus tonight. It's going to be hard, but I'm just trying to go with Rufus tonight. And we want to just let you know, first of all, this disclaimer. Okay. We invited you here to give a man's perspective on first dates. And I'm pretty sure, the trail may lead to some other things. And I just want everybody to know that Mr. Carpenter, is representing himself, his experiences, his, beliefs, the things that, he believed that works for him. So he's not speaking for all men, no different than when April was on, she wasn't speaking, for all women. So I'm going to ask those of you that are listening, just be objective. We have different people from different walks of life with different experiences. And what makes it so beautiful is when we allow everyone to be able to express their experiences, and it teaches us something as well. All right. So I just wanted to say that. And he knows that he's free, to share according to, his own principles. And so, Rufus, if you wouldn't mind telling us a little bit about your military service.
Okay. Wow. Okay. First, I want to say thanks for having me here tonight, and hello to your audience. And I must applaud and tell you how much I appreciate you having a forum like this, because a lot of times we don't learn about things of the heart or things about relationship. A lot of times we don't learn in church, we don't learn in school, we don't, and sometimes we don't learn at work. A lot of times we learn it in the street, and if you learn in the street, you don't know what you're going to get. So thank you for having this forum tonight, talking about first dates. But again, I gotta say thanks for the for showing appreciation for the military people and what the service they do for our country. So thank you, and thank you for your service as well. Um, my military background was a little different than most. I came in, and I'm a retiree, by the way. I came in first to be what's called a cook. Food service is where I first came in as that. But I was already a chef before I came in the military. So I came in what's called strike for skills. I was able to go to a higher rank. Because of my prior training, because food service is the same whether it's military or whether it's civilian. So I did that. And then I became a martial arts instructor in the military. And I was did that for a while. And then I became a recruiter. So I did the recruiting for a while. And matter of fact, I did it in the Connecticut area. And then I became what's called a human race and human relations leader, where I had the responsibility of going to all different units in our command, and I would find out if there was a race or relationship problem. I'd be the first person on the scene, and I had the responsibility of deciding what level of authority or resources we had to throw at solving those problems. So my background in the military is very diverse. 20 years in, I did a lot of things. I had some of the best times in my life. I met some of the best people in my life. I had some first dates in the military too, by the way. So tonight, I'm just gonna enjoy the night and try to share as much as I can.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm sure there was first days, second days, and third days. I served too
Yes.
now, so I know all the inside secrets. So thank you again for sticking it out, and with that diverse background, it causes you to be, very versatile, understanding people, and causes you to be a commodity, for any organization, because all of the things, that you shared, a lot of them, are dealing with, human situations, where I'm sure that you can give, some insight. And so that is great. And I just want to say, those of us that were in military, if you didn't live off post and have your own place, we look forward to the mess hall. So I sure appreciate you.
Yes,
Yes,
indeed.
absolutely. Okay. All right. So, ladies, if you are looking for a handsome, dark, and tall potential mate, this might be the one. Okay. And he served in the military, so you might get some benefits along with that. Ladies, we love the benefits, don't we? Absolutely, we love the benefits. Now, you would get a good home cooked meal. He said he was a cook, so
Yeah.
that's attractive. Now, if you cut up, the martial arts part might not work in your favor. Like, karate chop, if you talk too much, I don't know. So, we're just trying to give you some tips here to see if this is what you really want to do. So we are going to start by asking Rufus some questions as pertains to first dates. And what we really want to, gain out of this again is to have an idea of what goes through, the mind of a gentleman. They approach us, they ask us for our phone number, they want to take us out, but there's some things that we might not really be privy to. Okay, so let me ask you, you've already said, you've had, I'm sure, many first dates.
Mm-hmm.
You meet a woman, encounter her. What are some of the reasons, from your observance, do you ask a woman out? Let me rephrase that. When you observe a woman, what are some of the reasons why you would ask a young lady out for a date?
There's quite a few reasons. First reason is it has to be some type of attraction. We all human, so we all like what we like.
Yes.
So it has to be some attraction. It could be a smile, could be her hair, could be the way she carries herself, could be her shape. It could be the situation and where she finds herself. Let's say we're at the mall and I'm walking the mall and I see this lady. She's attractive. She carries herself well. She dressed well. And I talk to her. Hey, excuse me, ma'am. Got a minute? Hey, I noticed you. You seem like a very nice person, very beautiful person, and it's you're like somebody I want to talk to. And I would say, hey, look, I now may not be the right time because you're shopping and busy. Is it possible that we could talk again? We could connect. And from there, I would, if she say yes, then I would give her exchange numbers, or we would decide how long we're going to talk then, and get together as a conversation from that. But it has to be some type of attraction, whether it's a spark, whether it's a smile, whether it's the way she carries herself.
Okay, wonderful. Now, for you,
Mm-hmm.
in approaching a woman, and we're talking about a complete stranger, is there any thought of, she may not give me her number, she may not want to talk to me, is there any thought of rejection, from a man's point of view? Because normally the women, we are the ones that actually get to choose if the relationship goes on any further. Have that ever happened to you? And if so, how do you process that?
Well, it happens all the time because, the thought of yes or the thought of no, it goes 50-50. What you're going to get. And a lot of times, the man, for me, I'm going to say me and a lot of other people, because I talk to friends too, guys. So a lot of times when you see the lady, you immediately, first thing you do is assess the lady, then you assess yourself. Do I add up? Would I be someone that she would choose based on how she looked, based on how she carry herself, and the surroundings? Would she choose me? It's not so much about her. Would she choose me? And then if all those answers are go go go, maybe she would choose me. Then I'd approach. But if I look at her and say, well, I don't think I add up, I won't even talk. I won't even go across that. And then and then sometimes I know you're a minister and a pastor, so I can't tell you what we say. Sometimes we don't say what the we say what then we try anyway. Nothing lost, nothing gained. And we go over and we'll speak.
Wow. So when you say that you assess a woman and you already have a preconceived idea if she will or she won't, accept perhaps, your approach, what about that woman will make you think she will or she won't? And I want to say, it looks like you keep getting shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. Are you?
I'll sit up straight. I
Yes,
guess
thank you. Okay, show that handsome
the
face.
more I relax.
There you go. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Repeat your question again,
Yes.
because you had me
When you
adjust.
see a woman, you said that, yourself and other gentlemen that you all will, have a preconceived idea if that woman would, you know, maybe be favorable toward your advance. What about that woman would tell you that she will or she won't, at least in your estimation?
Well, little cues that the lady give. If you look at it, she smiled.
Okay.
If she smiled, then you're saying, "Hey, that's half the battle." Hey, she's smiling at me. Or if she frowns, or if she look away, if frown, look away, you're saying, this might be tight. But if she smile and her posture, if she looks relaxed when you walk up, she's relaxed, she's not startled. Those are the things that will make you make a decision to keep going forward or to back off. Because normally a person will kind of give you a cue or give you some type of indication, whether the body language or whether they say themselves or whether they put their hands up. These are the signs, these subtle signs are signs that tell you yes. If you get close and they back up from you, then you know that hey, you're not going anywhere. This ain't gonna work. So but if you go and they lean forward, then they're leaning into the conversation. That means, yeah, you got an opportunity here.
Okay, wonderful. All right, ladies, if want to give off those positive signs, number one, be attractive. Okay, how many of us have ran into somebody with a bonnet on, okay, in Walmart or Publix, like, that ain't cute. All right, some bedroom slippers, some toe-up shorts, all right, and you started praying for her husband, okay, it ain't gonna happen that day. So, being attractive, having yourself put together, going out in public, representing you, and that's important, okay? And also your body language, as Rufus have told us, what it's called body language because your body is speaking. Language,
Yes.
has sound, it has dialect, and it has meaning. So your body posture makes a difference as well. So if you are open, to dating, you're open to a relationship, you're open to meeting people, be mindful of those things. Your posture, be kind, be courteous, put on that smile. So thank you. Those are, perhaps things that we're not, so conscious of. You're just trying to find that dress, for your cousin's wedding, and you may not be conscious of those things. So that is good information. So thank you for that. So let me ask you, have you ever had someone that was just totally rude? You see all of these different, we'll say, platforms like dealing with dating situations or a man trying to approach a woman. And there's this one particular one, and I think it's called Gold Digger. And the
Oh,
guy, he walks up, to the lady, and she's looking all, foxy and everything. And then she turns him down. And then he's like, okay. Then he goes over to his Ferrari. And then all of a sudden, man, she turns around and has a different attitude. So have there, been a situation where somebody was just, rude for no reason? I mean, you're a gentleman, you're trying to speak, meet somebody new, spark up a conversation. Do you encounter that often?
sometimes you got to realize in meeting people, you meet people in your everyday. There's times where like let's say I went to Home Depot to pick up something, and I worked on a project, and I'm bummy looking, because I'm working, I'm not really looking, and then somebody catch my eye, and it could be a beautiful person, and I said, wow, I might never see this person again, so let me excuse me, miss, can I talk to you for a minute? And they look at you and he rolled it, like give you that, hey, please don't even come close, and then as a man, you decide, you either take that initial no and dust yourself off and move on, or either you say, hey, look, I understand. I know when you look at me now, I know what you see. You think this guy is no, but look, I'm working on something today. This is normally not how I look, but I tell you what, let's do this. Let me give you my number, or you get my number, however you want to do this, and we'll meet again. And then you'll see me in a different light. And you got to realize, do you take the no, or do you persist and talk into a point where you give a person a chance to see a different side of you? Because sometimes in the conversation itself, your words or your meaning or your thought can come across and can soften the person. Say, okay, well, yeah, maybe I judged this person the wrong way, let me give him a shot. Or, hey, nothing, I'll tell you what, let's meet again, that type of deal. Or you say, hey, look, I'm in this general area, if you see me again, then we'll talk, something like that. Because you don't really know.
All right.
I hope I
As
answered
you're
your
talking, I hear that recruiter coming out of you. No, sir, I don't want to go to the army. I always wanted to be a rapper. Well, you can travel, get you some educational benefits. You can
Yeah,
retire.
rap the interview.
You just got the gift to talk people into stuff. I can. Okay. All right. Well, that is good though, to be persistent and to let someone know that there is another side, and for me, I like a working man. So if I see somebody look like they done got a little dirty and doing something like that, don't bother me. They are somewhere making some money, so we good.
You're not a gold digger, though. If you're a gold digger,
Oh, absolutely
you would say if he works, could he afford me and him, so that makes a difference.
Yes, yes,
And let
absolutely.
me say this one thing before
Sure,
you,
go right
because a
ahead.
lot of times a woman look at your shoes, your hands, and all these things, what do you have on, and they judge you, because I hear women talk, and the first
Correct.
thing, oh, you look at his shoes, oh no, I
Mhm.
can't talk to him, and you don't, when you judge a person that way, you might be missing out. Not so much of them, maybe you may be missing out because you're judging the wrong things, or you're looking at the wrong things. You're not looking at the quality of person. You're looking at how they would show themselves at that moment in time.
Absolutely. I know I've seen those movies where, the young lady, let's say she was a basketball player and, she had on some shorts and, just dressed, as a athlete and hair pulled back in a ponytail, maybe looking a little tomboyish and rough. And then there's a school dance and she comes out with her hair slayed and makeup on and a nice little dress. And the guy like, oh, look what I missed out on. So yes,
Yes.
we do not want to miss those opportunities by judging a person because you're in that element at that time. Now if you came to church like that, then we might have a problem. But if you're at Home Depot or Lowe's, you're working. So we have to put all things in perspective. Okay. All right. So, once you get that, initial date underway, you talk and, there's an agreement for you to, have the opportunity to take this young lady out. What are some things that you are looking for on a first date that will help you determine, will this be perhaps a potential relationship? Will this be just a friendship? How do you determine, especially meeting someone for the first, couple of times? So that's the first question. And the second part of that, as you mentioned, you and your gentleman friend talk. Do men sort of categorize women,
The
the
answer,
first
the
couple of
second,
times?
the second part of your question, the answer is yes, we do categorize women. The first part of the question is how do you determine? You're looking for that connection.
Okay.
When you fix them out on the first date, you're looking for the connection because it's awkward. A lot of times, first date is really rough because you don't know anything about her. She don't know anything about you. She's concerned about safety. You're concerned about you not messing up in the interview in the first date. You're not messing up where you're scared of girl. So it's you both doing a dance or a game, however you want to call it. You both are actually participate in that process. And if the connection is there, you're relaxed. It becomes a relaxed situation. It's not rushed, or it's not hard. You talk. The conversation is fluid between you and her, and the conversation is such that it's interesting. You find a lot about her. She found a lot about you, and you see what you have interest in. Are you interested in the same things, or is there something that you guys can connect with that may be the glue that mean that you can go out again and meet again? Or it may be where you guys aren't compatible at all. And you find out right then that this isn't going to work, because that first date, you're really getting to know the person. You're really getting, can this go further? Is this a one and done? Or is this something that, that her and I can have fun going forward? Because the first date for me,
Mhm.
is just to see if that compatibility there. Is it someone that I'm comfortable with? Someone's comfortable with me. We can communicate in such a way that it's not a tuggle, it's not a pull, it's not a competition between us. It's something that it's a blending of our minds, our thoughts, and the conversation. That's what happens for me.
Okay. All right. And I believe, for most women, as it pertains to that, when you're first meeting somebody, those are the things that we like to connect on, the similarities, maybe similar backgrounds, similar life paths, and all of those things. It makes for a good conversation. What would cause you to put a woman in what is called the friend zone?
Her conversation is such that it's the conversation is such that we're not getting anywhere.
Oh,
It's not a match for me. It's not a person that pulls me, that makes me want to go further. It's a nice person. They're nice people. They're a nice person, but I can't see the blending of me and that person. I can't see where it'd be beneficial to neither one of us to go any further in a romantic type environment, or a real close friend environment. Because a lot of times, I'm not looking for a lover. A lot of times I'm looking for a person I can do things with. We can hang together. We can go to the movies together. We can ride out together. We can travel together. We can do these things, and not so much having to be great lovers, but we can be great close friends.
okay.
Because man has to have female friends as well as male friends.
Well, have you built relationships with women that you took out on a date and they became friends?
Of course, yes, a lot. I have
Really?
more friends than I have lovers when it comes to that.
Mhm. Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So I believe it depends on, what each person is looking for at that time. Becomes, some people are like, well, I'm looking for, a permanent relationship. I'm really not looking for friends. And they may not be open to that. And then others are, they always
Right.
welcome friends in their life. So,
Right.
so this is another lesson for the ladies. Just because a man doesn't see you perhaps as a potential partner, doesn't mean that he don't value you enough, to be a friend. So keep that in mind as well. Allow the situation to, form in a way that's natural and organic, and not try to force or make something, that's not there. So, okay, that is great. Now, have you ever been set up on a blind date?
Of course I have.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Tell us
Yes.
about, one of them.
Okay. I've had good ones, bad ones, in between ones.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, my last blind date was tremendous. I had the last blind date I had, a friend of mine. It was a lady friend of mine.
Okay.
She went to a business meeting, and the person that across from her that she was doing a business with was a lady that 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 she really thought that would be a good match for me.
Hmm.
So in her business dealing with that lady she was dealing with, she says, I have a friend. She says, sitting here talking to you, you remind me of my friend so much. I want to introduce you to my friend. And she called me, Rufus. I was doing this business. I met this lady. You know what? I think you and her be perfect. She says, I got her phone number. Do you want it? I said, whoa, wait a minute now. Hold up. She said, just do me a favor, call her. Just call her. You ain't got to go over, just call her. I said, okay, I called her. So I called her. The conversation was beautiful. It was nice. Great conversation. So I said, okay. So I talked to the lady. We talked about 3 times on the phone. I said, well, hey, look, let's get together. Let's go out. So this is first date. When I do a first date, I think about the lady. I think about, let's do something as a breakfast or a lunch, where it's in the daytime, where we're in a public place, where she won't feel threatened or where she won't feel roped in. So we did a restaurant, and it was an evening. It was early evening. It was like 3 o'clock, and we went there, met there. Conversation was awesome.
Mhm.
5 hours later,
Wow. Amazing.
and it was like, wow, and that was a turning point for me in my life, to be honest with you. I didn't realize it. Her and I talked, then we met, and then we talked over the phone again, and we met one more time for another date. And the second date we met out in public, we realized that we weren't going to go further as lovers, but we realized the connection was so strong
Mhm.
that we had, it wasn't going to work as lovers, but would work as great friends. But it it made me realize one thing, because I date a lot. I was dating a lot, so it made me realize one thing. I was dating a lot, but I was lonely.
Mm. Okay. Interesting.
It made me realize that, hey man, I was dating, going through the motion of dating, having fun, doing the things people do, but I wasn't connecting at a level that really made a difference in my life. And
Mm.
this date didn't work out, where me and this lady went further, but it worked out. It let me realize that there was a void in my life that I was doing. I was actually doing what's called a dating game. I was going out, having fun, and doing what you do on dates and after dates and all that kind of stuff. But I wasn't being fulfilled. And
Mm.
this date let me realize that. So now my dating is a lot different now. Now I date a major difference. That one,
Mm.
and it was a blind date. Me and that
Wow.
person were so much alike in so many ways. But
So, how did the conversation start as pertains to, we would make good friends? Like, did you bring it up? Did she bring it up? Was it something that sort of naturally, happened as far
it,
as you all making that as a mutual decision?
it naturally happened because we went too far in each other. To that 5 hours we took. She told me
Mm.
everything about her life from kid to adult, and I told her everything about my life from kid to adult. Over the
Mm.
phone, we'd talk all night from kid to adult. We talk about everything,
Mm.
and then we realized we went too deep too fast,
Mm. Okay. Okay.
and and
Taking
it re-
notes.
and it let us know that, hey, it when you feel, when you feel naked in a conversation, everything about, like, every wrinkle, every spot. That's the way
Right.
it felt, and we both realized something, because then we realized what our goals were, and we realized that our goals were different. Our
Mhm.
goals were different. We were so close in that conversation that we realized our goals were different, and we realized we needed different. There was different. We were in different places in our life,
Understood.
and
Okay.
that was so. And we could actually talk that openly and that clear, that we saw that, and we saw we could be beneficial to help each other. But it wasn't. We weren't the real match for each other. But we realized that we both had some things it opened both of us up. We saw each other differently, because she had just came out of a relationship with a person that she thought she was going to marry,
Oh.
and she realized that in that relationship could have been part of the issue. And
Mm.
I'm telling you, it was one of the most beautiful moments I've had in a very, 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 very long time.
Well, great. You had that experience and gained a friend. So,
Yeah.
ladies, I hope you're taking notes. So, one of the things that Rufus said is that, in this particular instance that he used, they went too deep too fast. So, we would say You know, when I was growing up, there was a candy, which was my favorite. It was called Now Later. Okay,
Oh,
Now and Later. All right, little
now
square
later.
candies, all the different
Yes.
colors. So, you know, even though, you know, there's a lot of things you can share, a lot of things you want to share, you know, just spread it out a little bit, you know, a little here, a little there. Because, you know, in this particular situation, you all became friends. That's great. You know, what if you just go telling someone all of your life history
Yeah.
and then you all never talk again? Somebody just walked away, you know, with your life. So,
Yes.
you know, dispense it out a little bit and, you know, make sure that you're in a safe, you know, place, a safe environment with a safe, you know, person when you're sharing those things. So,
Right.
okay, terrific. Great. Now,
Now I didn't tell you. I can tell you the worst one now.
oh, sure. We want to hear it.
That was the actual best. That was the best that ever happened to me, and that was the best that ever happened to me, and that taught me a lot about myself. That one did. So I'll remember that for the rest of my life. Now I've had some worse ones. Now one of the worst ones was it was this lady. We someone, a friend of hers, against a friend of hers set
Okay.
me up with her, and
Okay.
she's a beautiful girl, outstanding person, beautiful soul. So we're going to first date. Go to the first date. We're going to go out first date. Go to pick her. I was going to pick her up. Her and her friend, girlfriend. I'm picking up two people. House meals with me and her. It was her and a girlfriend. Okay, the three of us go out. Okay, no
Okay.
problem.
Okay. You went a little too fast. All right. You invited her out. And
Yes,
when
I
you went to
invited
pick
her out.
her out, pick her up, there was someone else there. How did that process of your coming with us?
Correct. She said, "Do you mind?" When went to pick her up, knocked on the door. Okay, hey, came. She said, "Come on in." I came on in. She says, "Do you mind if my girlfriend goes with us?" You know, who I supposed to say no? No,
In
that's
front of her girlfriend.
yeah. So she said, "Can my girlfriend go with me? Can my girlfriend go because she hasn't eaten and all this kind of stuff? Can she go?" And I said, "No." I said, "Yeah, she can go. Not a problem. No problem." And I was in myself, "What?" You know, but I said, "Not a problem." So we went. And it was good. It was fine. It was all right. And we went out, had dinner, and came back, and I dropped them off, and I left. So the second date we're gonna go to the beach.
Okay.
We talked over the phone for a few times, and we're gonna go to the beach. So I go to pick her up at the beach. Her friend had a friend.
Okay. Wait a minute. You went too fast. What? Say that again.
And when I went to pick her up, her friend and her friend had a friend. Four of us.
And you agreed to this.
Yeah, I agreed to it. I said, okay, no problem. And the beach was over an hour away. It was an hour and a half away. So we go to the beach. Before we went to the beach, we went to eat. We eat before we went to the beach. I paid for everybody's dinner.
Was
Went to
that
the beach.
expected, or did you just, you know,
I
say,
think
I'll take care of it? I mean, were they prepared to take care of their own, you know, besides your date? I mean,
I don't know. I don't know. I just got the bill. I just got the bill and paid it. We stayed at the beach all day. We left, went back. I dropped everybody off. And if I said I was done. So the third date, I was gonna say I'm done. I was gonna say, hey, we're over. And the third date, so we talked over the phone. And I talked. She said, I'm sorry. She said, I'm sorry. Hey, she said, I didn't know. She said, I was afraid. She said I was afraid. So we talked about it. And I'm telling you, that wasn't a good situation. It wasn't a good situation.
she
It
was
was
afraid of what, being alone with you?
being
She thought
alone,
you was
being
going to
alone. Yeah,
harm her, or what is she? So why was she, I mean, she's not here to defend herself, but
right.
why do you think a woman would be fearful, so fearful that they can't go out on a date alone with someone and they have to take someone else? Would you say that they probably, you know, should reconsider even going out, or do you think that's they should go grab a buddy. How would you suggest a woman, handle a situation like that?
I would say, know the person, know, kind of try to know as much as you can about the person, or like the only April said last week, meet them there at the place, instead of instead of them picking you up and taking you, meet them at the place. So
You
if
and
you
your
feel
three
uncomfortable,
friends.
right, if you feel uncomfortable, you can leave, and that way everybody can leave their own way. And then once you get to know them, then you can go by yourself with them.
Mm.
But when you bring another person on a date, it's that third wheel just ain't cool.
Yeah, it defeats the purpose of you and that individual,
Yes.
getting to know each other. I could even see if maybe the babysitter canceled and I got to bring little Jimmy. I can understand that. But another grown person, do you
Yeah.
think their relationship was on the up and up? I'm saying
I
that's
well,
kind of
on the third, I
strange.
did get to know the person afterwards, because we didn't live that far from each other. Once we found out we didn't live far from each other, so I got to know them for later on, and
Mhm,
we talked about all that. They
mhm.
were just afraid. They were saying that my demeanor was that I was such that they. She said that she thought that I was an executive or something, and she didn't think she added up. So she needed that confidence of having a friend with her. I didn't
Okay.
understand.
Yeah, I'm
That's
not understanding how a friend is going to cause you to be more confident. And everybody's different, so this isn't, to belittle her or anything.
mhm,
But the fact, remember when we went, let's go back to the case scenario that you gave. If you meet a lady at the mall,
mhm.
like you say, you've already, well, in this particular case, of course, it was a blind date, but someone asked you to take her out. Is this the same lady or somebody different?
You
This
talking
is
about
this was a blind date too.
this is not the mall lady. This is a
This
different
is
lady. This is
right.
blind date. This is blind date.
This is another blind, right? So
Her girlfriend knew me, and her girlfriend asked her, who said, "Hey, look, take him out. You and him need to hook up," kind of
right.
deal. Is what she said.
So this is what I'm saying. Her girlfriend had already assessed you because she knows you're a friend. She've
Correct.
already assessed her. So in
Mhm.
her assessment, she've already, reasonably concluded that you two, could at least have a great time together, maybe,
Mhm.
work into a relationship, maybe be great friends, maybe be business partners or
Mhm.
something like that. So, when it comes to blind dates, since we're talking about that, there has to be some trust and some confidence in the person who brought you
Correct.
all, together.
Correct.
And you still, before you asked her out on a date, you talked to her on the phone. So you still could have turned her down, So, maybe that's, dealing with some self-esteem issues or confidence, type of issues.
It was
Yeah.
confidence. Her confidence. She didn't think she measured up, because a lot of us as people have secret confidence, our secret
Mhm.
personal secret, that we feel like we're not adequate or we're not enough, and sometimes that mindset can mess you up.
Yes. Okay, so ladies, let's take notes. All right. If a gentleman asks you out and he met you on his own, he's already made some type of assessment. He wants to be in your company. That's why he asked you out. If a friend brought you two together and you all have had an opportunity to converse and there's a connection, then that shows too that that man is still interested. No one can guarantee, what's going to happen. So, be your authentic self, and you can't hide behind other people. So, number one, to ask someone on the spot who's taking you out in front of the person who you want to come along, that puts the person on the spot. Of course, the average person is going to say, okay. And then to turn around and do it again and then add some other people, that is just not, it's just not appropriate. So, you know, you want to keep those type of things in mind. So, you know, graciously, it was you, you know, and this is the thing. I don't know if people don't watch the news, but if you was a dangerous man, you could have made all four of them disappear. So it ain't really, you know, I don't know what she was thinking. So, you know, that not necessarily any type of security there. So that is very, very interesting. So let me ask you, as a gentleman, as we talk about attraction, you've already shared some things, you know, maybe a woman's smile, maybe the way she wears her hair, her body shape, her personality, her warmth, and all of those things, her demeanor. Are you, Rufus, attracted mostly to younger women? And I'm going 5 years front and back, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Younger women, women about your age, or older women? And during your life, as you know, you start maturing into dating, has that changed where you change your categories?
Initially, it was older women for me.
At what age? When did you find yourself attracted to older women? Were you 15 dating a 23-year-old?
From 18 to 18 dating a 23-year-old. And when I was young, it always was older, 5 to 6 years older. For some reason, I matured fast. I'm from a family of 14 kids, 9 boys and 5 girls. And I always hung with my mom or older people, so I was a little old. I act older than my age. I was more mature. So I found that older women seem more. I was more attracted to older women than I were to younger women, and that persists until I got about 30, 35 years old. When
All
I
right,
got
I want to
35.
stop. I want to stop here with the 18 and the 23-year-old relationship. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so you're the male, and we would expect for the man, you know, to be the one that would approach the woman. Did
Uh-huh.
you approach this 23-year-old, or did she, you know, show some liking toward you? When did you all find out your ages, you know, and how did you all deal with that? Did you know, oh, she's 23, I'm gonna go after her? Or did you just find her attractive and the age wasn't initially a factor?
I found her attractive, and I didn't consider age until we started talking. And then she thought I was older, and I kind of figured that she was. I kind of knew her age a little bit, but she thought I was older than what I was. And
Okay.
then when we went out, and we started going out, someone told us, "Is these guys still in high school?"
Oh my. Well, she told somebody about the relationship and then they told her about you.
Yeah, I was still in high school. She was in college. I was in high school. Because she thought when I went to school, she thought I was talking about college. I was talking about high school.
Define your words, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Say what kind of school? Could be elementary school. Let us know.
Yes. When I told her I was in school, she said I'm in school too. I was in high school. She was at community college.
So how did the relationship progress after, okay, well, we attracted to each other. I'm, you know, younger than you. You know, people know our ages. You know, did you all just continue? How did you all handle that? You know, was
We
it a shock
continued.
factor for you
Well,
when you found out she was 23?
it was a shock factor, but I was kind of like, again, I was a little mature for my age because I was in a senior year of school, and I was in something called DE, distributed education, where I worked half a day. You know, I went to school half a day, then I went to work afterwards, and I drove my own car, had my own money. So, and she met me on a job during the daytime. So,
I can see the confusion. I'm taking up classes and I have to go to work. I can see,
yeah,
I can bring
yeah,
in a little distortion.
yeah,
So was it a long lasting relationship
very
or?
long lasting relationship. It was very nice.
Wow.
I
Okay.
married her.
That's right. Okay. Wow. you could be missing out on your
Yeah.
blessing, missing out on your next boo thing,
Yeah.
because you're not allowing yourself to take all things, in consideration. You just put somebody off because of one thing. Okay, wow. So let me ask you this, and I don't want to get, too personal into your marriage or anything, but at 18 and then 23, and this is for someone that maybe, married an older woman or dating an older woman. Did you find, though, as you all matured in age, that there became a gap, and as we'll say, the age began to show, or did you not experience that?
We didn't experience that because we stayed married for 27 years.
Okay, all right. Because sometimes when, people marry and there's a great difference, at some point the age becomes a factor,
Yeah.
so that's great that it didn't happen in your relationship. So do you find, as you talk about your friends, maybe gentlemen in your circle of, influence, um, are attracted to older women, or is it, just some younger, some, about the same age? Is there really, a category, or everybody's just different?
Most of my friends like younger women.
Really?
I was the only one that liked older women. Everybody else liked younger women. I
Okay.
was the only one older, and and then after, because I was married 27 years, and after divorce, and I went out to start dating again, getting back into the dating pool again. Um, I went both. I went a gap. I went maybe 10 years younger and 10 years older. So I
Okay.
stayed that gap, 10 years younger than me and 10 years older than me. I dated that gap. But majority of my friends like young. That was the thing. They like younger women.
So what would you say would, from your experience, what would you say would be your perfect match age wise? Would you go 10 above, 10 under, somewhere kind of middle, that there's a natural connection that you found with, the women that you've dated?
Well, I'm 71 years old right now.
You
So,
stop
so
it.
yes, I am. You see, you don't even know my age. I'm 71, but I would date from 50 to 80.
Okay, raise your right hand and I'm gonna get the Bible. And you you got this, repeat after me. Okay, and you can stand on it, put it, wave it, or whatever.
You're funny.
You are funny. Oh goodness gracious! Wow,
Yes.
you look terrific for your age. I would not have put you in your 70s at all. Maybe 50-ish,
Mhm.
50 something, 52, 53. I would not have. So let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
While the shock is wearing off, do you think men are more open about their age than women?
Yes, I'm gonna say yes.
And
Men are
why
more open
why
than women.
is it?
Because men see it as wisdom and as maturity. Women see it as, oh, I'm getting old. Hey, nobody wants me. I'm past the prime. I'm at an age now. If I ain't done it by now, it's not gonna get done.
Mhm.
But men see it as wisdom. Because when I meet someone, I tell them my age. Hey, I'm this. Because everybody think I'm so much younger. Like same as you think I'm
Yeah,
younger.
like 52, 53, or something like
Right. And they say, hey, look, and then a lot of times, because I won't talk to anybody under 50. If they're under
that.
50,
Okay.
I'll say, look, you're too young for
Oh.
me. They said, no,
If you
how?
under 50, you were just a little youngster with
Yes,
milk
yes,
still
yes,
around your mouth. So
yes,
you're too young.
yeah. And but guys feel it's wisdom. I've learned, I've lived. Hey, I've got a lot to give, a lot to offer, a lot to show. That type of deal. But I see most women, they think if they haven't done it by this time.
Wow. Amazing. Still shaking off the shock here. That is amazing. So at your age, okay,
Mhm.
we're not going to make you put your right hand on your heart or anything like that when you were enlisting. Do you Are you open to, you've been married for 27 years, being
Mhm.
married again? And the reason why I'm asking that is because when you go out on a date, I'm pretty sure, you know, these type of conversations come up. So first question, are you open to being married again? And if you are, you know, at this age, what would it be that you would be looking for? Because I'm sure, you know, maybe some things have changed. Maybe they're the same from, you know, when you married earlier. So that's question number one. And question number two, if you're not interested in being married again and you're going out on dates, is this something that you let be known, you know, before a woman get up, you know, into her feelings and maybe thinking, you know, there's a future? You know, so what's your stand on that for yourself?
Now, that's a great question. Excellent question you asked me. And that question gonna take maybe 3 or 4 parts for me to answer that question.
Give us the short version.
Okay, first we got to go back. Remember that last blind date I said I had, the first blind date I told you I had, that was me and the young lady was really good, and we had talked and we decided not to go any further, but it was a great blind date.
Mm-hmm.
And remember I told you I had an epiphany in that date. In that date made me realize that I was a lonely person. I was dating. I had had a girlfriend and all that kind of stuff. But it let me know that I was lonely in the fact that because I told myself after my first marriage, because me and my wife was married 27 years, and when we divorced, I think I was still in love with the lady. I think I was still in love, and we divorced, and it was hard for me. It was like a trauma when I divorced. So I said I'd never get married again because she was a good lady and it didn't work. So I'd never get married again. And I kept that thought up until that blind date I had. Wow. And that in that blind date, I realized that there was still a lot of love still inside of me.
Oh, okay.
You know, and then I realized I love too fast, but there's still a lot of love inside of me. And that blind date taught me that. And I says, wow. So from that point on, my heart been open to get married again. Okay. So my heart was open. So that made a major difference. And then if you look at stats, right now, 55 years and up is the biggest growing segment of people dating now.
Wow.
If you look at the stats and find out that's who's trending, going more dates now. Older people now realizing that there's a lot of life left. Okay. So I'm in that group that realize that now. So yes, I'm very open now to get married. And now what I'm looking for, I'm looking for someone first that's self-sufficient. That's the first thing. You got to be self-sufficient. Someone that wants to work with me in building something. Because a lot of people my age says, hey, I'm done building. I'm through. I'm ready to retire, sit back and watch the sunrise or watch the mailman come or whatever they do. That's not me. I'm still active. So the person has to be self-sufficient, have to be active, and the person have to have some desires in life, still have to have some goals left, have to have some energy left. And it's a person that's I'm not gonna say gentle, but a person has a mindset that they're not someone that I got to compete with. Because I don't want a wife or a girlfriend that I've got to compete with, because that's not gonna help anybody.
Right.
You know, so those are some of the things that I look forward to. She don't have to be all beautiful. She don't have to be all that, but she have to have general good health. You know, I can't, I don't want to be a caregiver. I will if I have to, but I like to know starting out that we're good.
It's just, you said it and you made the face to emphasize it. Be clear.
These are the things that look for, because I'm hoping that someone, it has to be a Christian lady, or a lady, at least a lady that she don't have to be so much Christian, but she have to have a religion that she's a part of, that she believes that something's bigger in life than she is.
Okay.
You have to be that type of person, and that's what I'm looking for.
All right, ladies, them benefits still available, y'all. Throw some hearts and some likes if you're interested. And you could be 80 years old because he's going 10 above. Yeah. So y'all y'all great grandmamas, y'all in the running.
But think about it though. Think about it. If a person is single at our age, your age, my age, if a person single my age, are they single by default?
Right.
Or are they single because they really want to be single?
Right.
You know, right now, one of the biggest epidemics in America right now is widespread loneliness.
Mm.
You know, are you single when somebody talk to you? You said I'm happily single when somebody asks you, are you happily single for real? You know, when you home, when you shut your door, are you kind of like miserable? Are you by yourself? You know, is it that? So think about it. When you think about like that, because as a Christian, as a minister, you as a minister, we're designed to be with people. We're
Absolutely.
not designed to be by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the way we're made.
Right.
So,
Absolutely. Wow. And I am going to ask you when we get
okay.
toward the end, what kind of women are you attractive to? So I want you to meditate on it so you can give us those characteristics. So make your list here. Okay. All right. You say she didn't have to be beautiful. So we're thinking like Grace Jones looking or what?
No, I mean it's the heart. It's the heart that I look for. It's not so much the looks, it's the heart. When we talk, what feel do you give? What type of vibe do you give? What type of energy level do you have? You know, are you a person that carries yourself well? You know, are you a positive person? You know, what do you want out of life? Where you are right now? You know, did you strive to get to where you are? Are you lucked into it? Or, those type of things. You know, what do you do for fun? You know, these type of things.
But if you could take a blank canvas, I said I was going to ask you later, but since you jumped on
I
it,
mean,
let's go.
we're talking.
All right. Okay. So a blank canvas, and you can draw, that type of woman that you are attracted to. What would that look like?
Okay, a Christian woman, a woman that's, um, you know,
Physically.
physically a medium to thick.
Give us some pounds, like between.
I mean, it
Because
can be.
the ladies, they might jump on the scale while you talking to see if they fit. So
Think about it. If I'm talking to a woman 50 to 80, that's going to be someone that has a little age on her. That's going to be someone that maybe have a little middle age spread, may have a few extra pounds. You know, it don't have to be a skinny person. It could be it don't be average. It could be larger.
okay.
It all depends on the person and the heart.
Okay.
The physical makeup is not really that important. Yes,
Okay.
yes, we do look. You gotta, you look because you want to you want a person to be appealing, but it's the spirit, it's the heart, it's the soul of the person.
Okay.
Because I can't tell you, she's got to be 6 feet tall, got to have a Coke bottle shape, got to have long, pretty hair. That's not it. It's what it is. It's the heart of the person. When we talk, I've got to feel it. The connection got to be there. The vibe got to be there. The mindset has to be there. We have to be able to work this together, because at the end of the race, at my age, I'm looking towards the end of the race, and I want to end it well.
Right.
And I know to end it well, I have to have someone to end it with me.
Well, thank you for letting us off easy. Because ladies, we are so specific many times. So, and that's why I love this conversation again, getting into the mind, of a male. So on this subject, I like to ask, when you first begin to date a young lady or one of your friends in your circle, do you all normally, share that information for, bragging rights, advice, or, maybe just to, share what's new in your life? How do you normally, handle that? You have this new lady, you're attracted, you all are getting serious about each other. Is that something that you share, with your buddies?
Not really. Not really.
You know
Not
what?
really.
That is the quickest
Not really.
answer that you have given for this whole hour. We've been talking. Everything else, you kind of took a moment and thought about it. And
No.
no.
I learned that at an early age, the more I keep my mouth shut, the better it goes.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting, because I think as women, those are things that we share. Even if, and a lot of times we don't give all of the details. And we sort of put out this disclaimer, when I met this gentleman, we went out, a couple of times, but I'm not getting my hopes up too high. We may talk about the consistency, the individual, which will be the reason why we would, still be conversating with them, things like that. And we kind of leave it at, girl, we're going to see what's going to happen, kind of thing. We don't, hype it up too much, because then you have to, because what I've learned is that, especially with women, as you said, you learn that you believe that you love too fast. A lot of women love too fast too. And so then you have, told everybody, you've hyped this gentleman up. It's almost like y'all getting married next week, the way that you're telling the story. And then you have to go back to them and then you have to tell them, oh, well, we're not together. So, there's sort of like this, moderate way of introducing, someone without hyping it up, too much, just in case, it don't go well. Okay, but that's very interesting, because, we see in the movies, the guys, hey man, I'm dating Sue or whatever, but you are speaking for yourself. And I'm sure there are gentlemen that do share that, type of information. So, all right.
My mindset on this subject is that she may be the one. And if she's the one, I don't my buddies know how me and this girl got together. That's not even
I understand the little protection.
Yeah.
And that is wise. That is wisdom. Wonderful. Wow. Okay. Interesting. Okay, ladies. So if you put on a few pounds, lost a teeth or two, now I'm just adding to what he said. All of these, you had a few bald spots,
Don't go too left.
He said he understands those things, so this might be your man. You forget your thought, right in the middle of what you're saying, hey, there's still hope. He let us know that, okay? So don't be too hard on yourself. All right. If you're enjoying this conversation, put up some hearts, put up some thumbs up, and we want to know that you are there. And if you have any questions, put it in the chat, whether you're watching by YouTube or if you're watching by Facebook. We have just only a couple of more questions. And I want to say, too, just right here in the middle, I really appreciate your time. This is a busy gentleman, and for him just to mark out this time to be here with us, it is very special. And I'm going to also allow him at the end to share with you some other things that you may want to, get involved in, that he's a part of in social media. Okay. All right. Let us see. We have covered a lot. Worst day, best day. Talked about even sometimes you may, allow the other person to take themselves, to a specific location where you're going to meet, the age. And so I think I'll ask one more question.
Okay.
And that question is, as a gentleman dating someone, you have the connection, you have the similarities. This person may, they have some type of religious preference, they're healthy, they take care of themselves and all of those things. When in a relationship, do you introduce a lady to your family? And who would be the first initial people, to meet her? Because being introduced to a man's friend, to a woman, that's sort of a sign, unless it's the Playboy Club and they may introduce everybody, we don't know, but it feels good. Okay. And then next, comes the family. So how do you, when I say that, I don't mean, time frame, 3 weeks, 3 months, when in the relationship, or what takes place in the relationship that lets you know, okay, now it's time to meet whomever.
Okay. It's when in the relationship, me and the person's been dating And we know that there is a union between us. There is a connection that we know we're going to date again. It's not a question mark. Will we date again? We know we're going to date again because we have created a pattern that we're going to date again. And we know that we can call each other anytime we want to call each other, stop by each other's house without notice and all that kind of stuff. That's when I'll introduce my sisters first. And
Why the sisters
because
first?
my sisters, they're very judgmental. They're Rufus, I don't think this is for you. Rufus, I think this is for you. Or I like her, or I don't like her, or they'll give me some type of Rufus, let me talk to you about this one kind of deal.
Are they normally, right from a scale of 1 to 10? What has their predictions been about a relationship? You know,
They're normally right. They're normally right.
wow,
They
women
normally
know
give me some
women.
good advice. They normally
Yeah.
give me some
And,
good advice. Yeah.
without naming anybody, what are some of the things that they may have, shared with you about, someone, you know, that you brought that, made you stop and pay attention?
It
That
was a
was
it was a lady that I met. This lady was a real nice lady, beautiful home, beautiful. She drove a nice vehicle. She had substance, had things. Um, Everything was going great. One of my sisters pulled me aside and says, Rufus, you might want to think about this one. Says this girl may have a drug problem. And,
what?
and I says, no way in the world. My sister says, Rufus, listen to me.
Really?
Yeah, and then I start noticing things. Then I start noticing things, and I believe it was true.
Wow. So, okay, so you've been with this lady, a couple of weeks, months, whatever the time frame. You would not have even entertained that thought until your sister. So is your sister a psychologist or?
My sister, someone has been in the street.
Good enough, good enough, good enough. Wow, that is
Street,
amazing.
no street, I guess.
Wow, and the lady gave no. Well, you say eventually when you start paying attention, she
Yeah.
gave some signs.
Yeah, I
Wow.
start noticing that when the lady visit me sometimes and I be at work, she goes out. She goes out and stay 4 or 5 hours, and I can't find her and stuff like that in a new city that she don't know anybody. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? What's going? I
yeah.
said, "What are you doing?" She says, "Well, I was just out shopping and I did this, and time got away from me." I'm saying, "Wait, you don't know nobody in this town. Hold up, come on, that's dangerous. So let's not do that anymore." And then
Right.
I started saying, "Wait a minute, yeah." But
Wow.
I was fooled because I was a good judge of character, and I was saying, "How in the world?" But then I found out some people are functional in that lifestyle. You don't
Absolutely
know.
correct. Wow, that is amazing. So keep bringing them to your sisters.
Yeah.
As they want the best for you,
Yep.
and that's good. Good advice. Absolutely. So, well, it has been such a delight to have you to share, to give us insight, to allow us to, walk back with you through some of your experiences and just allow us to see things, from a male perspective. We are so grateful. So at this time, I would like to ask you if you wouldn't mind, sharing with us, some of the things you're doing,
Okay.
business, manager, and coach. You're also involved in a consistent platform as it pertains to singles. So share that information. Someone may want to follow and be a part of some other things that you're doing.
Okay. All right. My first love is youth. Is working with youth and community. That's my first love, and I'm gonna eventually go back to that, and gonna be youth sports. That's my first love. But my current job, I'm the manager and a coach with Glenda's Get It and Go. And what that is, that's a community forum that's called Sunday Night at 9 with Coach Glenda. And this Sunday Night at 9 is a container setup where it's like you and 20 of your girlfriends are in your living room and you're talking about relationships. Every Sunday night at 9, they meet. And it's a live event where they meet every Sunday night on a Zoom platform. And there they talk about relationships. Once again, it's a sisterhood where you and 20 of your girlfriends are in the living room, and it's like a Sunday night. It's 9, the kids are in bed, and you may have a drink of wine or two, and you talk about relationship subjects. Where each week they have a specific topic, but you can talk about anything relationship you want, because you don't know if a lot of times when you have problems or relationships, you can't go to church and say, hey, pastor, me and my husband, me and my boo is doing this and we need help. So where do you get those type of answers from? Because when you talk about relationship, there's basically 5 questions that come up anytime you talk about relationships. And these questions, whether you long-term, married, single, or whatever, are in a relationship. First question you ask, if you decide to stay in a relationship, the first question, am I going to stay in this relationship? Second question is, am I going to get out of this relationship? The third question is, once you decide whether you're going to stay or stay in it, what's next? That's the third question. Wow. And the fourth question, if children or the care elderly are involved in that, how does that look in the equation? And then once you get past that, what kind of resources are there for you? And I'm glad that Ramona has this reset here, has this place right here where she has a singles line where she can talk about some of the things about singles. And we've talked about an hour here about what it looks like going out on dates. Because you have to know, in this day and time, they got what's called modern relationships now. Anything can happen. People are doing what they're big and bad enough to do. And if you're not prepared, you can get taken up, and you can get carried away with some of this stuff. So I applaud her for having that platform. But once again, the one that I'm the coach and manager with is Glenda's Get It and Go, which is Sunday night at 9, every Sunday night, and it comes on. And she has an email. You can email and she'll give you the link. You can come on direct. And the email is REC. Wait a minute. I'm giving the wrong. I'm giving you my email instead.
He trying to be slick, ladies. He want
glasses on.
We'll go ahead and let you have that one.
You're funny. Okay, it's RESET, which is reset, and it's 2HR@gmail.com. And if you email her, once again, is reset RESET 2HR@gmail.com, and she'll send you the link. It's every Sunday night. It's coming on live. You can ask your questions and you can be part of the audience. You can get on as much as you want. You can actually show your face and answer questions, or you can just go on and just look at it without showing your face and don't have to answer questions. But it's a great form. It's relaxed. It's free. And she talks about relationship issues every week. It's like a counseling session every week about relationships. And that's the way I spend the majority of my time.
Yes, and I have been a part of that forum before, and it's wonderful, and you will enjoy it. So what I'm going to do is have Rufus to email or text me all the information, and it'll be on YouTube, and it'll also be part of the caption for Facebook. So, if you didn't get to write that down, no fear, I will provide all of that information. So I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. It has been a joy and it has been a delight. And I want you to know that we will like to have you back, eventually, and, share some, other things as well. We were just talking about this one topic and you did a wonderful job, giving us some insight. So we are going to call it a night, but not before. Not before.
Now, I told you how old I am. How old are you?
Okay. Okay. Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you.
Hello.
We can hear you.
I don't know what's going on with this microphone. As soon as you get to the end of the broadcast, everything starts cutting off and you can't hear, you can't see. Are you still there, Mr. Carpenter? Lord, I guess that means it's the end. It has been a delight. We really appreciate you. Looking forward to you coming back. I'm going to ask everyone, please share. It is just simple as finding the word share and sending it to somebody. That's all. There are people who may have been working tonight and who, or maybe in, church tonight. This could be their midweek, service, and they weren't able to be on, but they're really interested in the information. So let's get this out to as many people as we can. Any final words there, Mr. Rufus?
I
Words,
appreciate
not questions.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you for having this forum and having me here tonight. I had a lot of fun. Your audience is some of the best people in the world, and enjoy. Thank you very much.
All right. Good night, everyone. And I will let you know when we will have our next subject, our next session, and our next guest. Blessings to all.